By all accounts, the Desert Eagle is one of the worst handguns ever made. It's too expensive, too big, and too heavy, and yet is arguably one of the world's most iconic pistols, despite its impracticality. So how did this happen? Why is it the go-to gun for bad guys, and one of the most prominently used sidearms in first-person shooter games? According to Magnum Research Chairman and CEO John Risdale, it's featured in over 600 films, TV shows, and video games, contributing to its wider recognition and commercial success in popular culture. According to a 1994 newspaper article, they even actively solicited prop houses to use the gun. By the year 2000, armorers had used the Desert Eagle in over 40 major Hollywood productions, including The Matrix, Eraser, Red Heat, Last Action Hero, Cliffhanger, Demolition Man, Assassins, The Last Boy Scout, Double Impact, and Austin Powers. So clearly, in this case, bigger is always better. The Desert Eagle, or Deagle, is a single-action, gas-operated, semi-automatic pistol capable of chambering the .50 Action Express, the largest center-fire cartridge of any magazine-fed, self-loading pistol. It was designed as a semi-automatic rival to large-frame, high-caliber revolvers, as the market lacked any semi-automatic variant of this model. If you wanted a hand cannon before the release of the Desert Eagle, you bought a 6-cylinder Dirty Harry. What set the Deagle apart was that it was a gas-operated pistol able to feed from interchangeable magazines and with a superior ammo capacity to a revolver with a 6-round cylinder. The design began in 1979 at the American Magnum Research Inc. by Bernard C. White of Magnum Research and Arnold Steinbergs of Riga Arms Institute, who filed a US patent application for a mechanism for a gas-actuated pistol in January 1983. The first pistols came off the assembly line in 1982 by Israeli weapons manufacturer Israeli Military Industries, where the Israelis further refined the design. With that, a legend was born. A second patent was filed in December 1985 after IMI Systems refined the basic production design. This is the version we all know and love. Magnum Research has also marketed various iterations of the short recoil Jericho 941 pistol under the moniker the Baby Eagle and Desert Eagle pistol names. These handguns are not directly related to the Desert Eagle, but share similar visual designs. That's not to say they have played it safe since then. The latest iteration, the Mark 19, was released in 1995 and comes with several choices as far as finish is concerned, for those who want a personal touch. Apart from standard black, they offer 3 chromed options, including nickel, either satin or bright, of course gold 24 karat, and in a more durable titanium plated version. And if gold isn't suitably flashy, there's always the tiger stripes. If that wasn't enough, there is a choice between a 6-inch and a 10-inch barrel with the additional scope attachment. The client has their caliber of choice, either 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum, or .50 Action Express. Designed for high-caliber, semi-automatic pistols, and the Desert Eagle was the first handgun chamber for it, a massive upsurge in performance from the already unstoppable 44 Magnum round, and teetering on the edge of what was deemed legal for civilian use. The revolutionary design of the pistol set the bar high with the .50 caliber chambering, putting the Deagle above the competition, which, as mentioned, has been featured heavily in media since the 1980s, usurping the eponymous 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, made famous by Dirty Harry, making punks who are unfortunate enough to be on the receiving end feel a little less lucky. The pistol is for target shooting and hunting, and the Deagle hasn't seen action with police or security services and militaries in war zones due to its obvious impracticality. Poland's GROM unit and Portugal's GOE operations group use it only for training. It found its zenith in popular culture. The Desert Eagle has gained particular prominence in video games. Due to technical limitations and lack of resolution, they often appeared as generic, box-like objects spitting fire. As the technology advanced, firearms were rendered in greater detail, making them more realistic and recognizable to the average consumer, cementing their iconic status. However, as many people may have noticed, the Desert Eagle's name hasn't always been used due to trademark concerns, often using generic terms as a placeholder, such as the Magnum pistol, 50 AE, heavy handgun, or heavy pistol, often alluding to the weapon's high caliber and coveted status within the game to one-shot enemies, perfect for cleaning house in covert missions. It's an ironic concept when you think about it, considering its lack of subtlety. In other situations, the names are more creative, such as the Silver Talon in Soldier of Fortune, Desert Ranger in Tomb Raider, or the Nighthawk 50 cal in Counter-Strike. While the names might not be recognizable, the imposing and stark design of the pistol certainly is. In 1999, when Counter-Strike was released, it was one of the earliest realistic depictions of a Desert Eagle. It reflects the real-life power and impact of the pistol. While the magazine's capacity was limited, the significant damage it inflicted and its ability to drop enemies with headshots quickly cemented it as a formidable weapon in a player's arsenal. However, it dramatically overlooks the weapon's impracticality for combat use in reality. The eponymous gun returned in later iterations, each time fulfilling a similar role as a deadly last line of defense, or when it's quicker than reloading. Counter-Strike enjoyed massive popularity over its lifespan, but if Counter-Strike put the Deagle on the map, the release of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare in 2007 made it a legend in the pop culture realm. In the opening scenes of COD 4, you play a deposed president of a Middle Eastern country. You're chucked into a car, knocked out with the butt of an AK, unceremoniously dragged to a pole, then after a short speech from the main villains, promptly executed with a shot to the head from a chrome Desert Eagle. It's a dramatic and memorable scene that reminds us that nobody is untouchable and can meet the most undignified end at the barrel of something so flamboyant and ostentatious. It perfectly symbolizes a coup d'etat and what the Desert Eagle is all about, a show of force via a brutal public execution of a head of state. The pistol's flashiness represents exhibitionism at its finest and is an indulgent, vulgar display of power. Its iconic opening sets the story in motion with an explosive bang, as impactful as a headshot from this stylish hand cannon. Aptly, it doesn't make a return until the infamous end of the campaign, as a tool of power, intimidation, and destruction in the hands of Zakhaev, mirroring the beginning of the game, moving towards Soap and the squad with murderous intent, only to be subverted by some quick thinking from Price, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat promptly and brutally. The sequels in the trilogy didn't back down in their willingness to show off the Deagle, reprising its iconic role in Modern Warfare 2, notably in the opening scenes of the favelas in Rio, in the hands of arms dealer Rojas' assistant, where he executes members of the unit in a car, leading to an extended dramatic chase through the slums. Modern Warfare 3 depicts even more liberal use of the Deagle, most prominently in the hands of Yuri as a sidearm, and more famously, you end up staring down its barrel thanks to Price. It reappears at the pivotal climax of the campaign, the down-the-barrel scene mirrored with Makarov towards Price. A grievously injured Yuri attacks him before he can finish the job, subsequently meeting his end from the weapon, distracting Makarov long enough for Price to avenge his comrades in a fitting scene more savage than anything the Deagle could muster. Every defining moment in the Modern Warfare games must include this bombastic weapon, reflecting the series' over-the-top, globe-trotting, save-the-world theme. If you're going to stick a gun in someone's face, it might as well have a bark that equals its bite and has the looks to match. A weapon with an imposing profile that's larger than life, like its villainous owners, the 50 caliber Desert Eagle. Between its depictions in cinema, television, and video games, the Desert Eagle's reputation precedes itself, a genius stroke of marketing that made a wholly impractical and cumbersome steel monstrosity of pure indulgence an icon of sidearms in popular culture. When it comes to high-caliber semi-automatic performance, power, and capacity, no other gun compares. His influence in media reflects the representation of the Deagle as a tool of intimidation and violence to fuel the never-ending desire and lust of those who seek and wield power. Its unrestrained exhibitionism and terrifying potency are a tour de force of dominance and a vulgar display of strength. After all, when you're brandishing a golden, tiger-striped hand cannon at the head of a revolution, practicality doesn't come into it.